Hey there guys, this is Rob, your host, with another marvelous videos. This time, the murderer of Superman, Doomsday, unstoppable Behemoth origin explored.
Now God is good as dead.
Doomsday is one of Superman's arch-nemesis who is equally strong as Superman, if not more. We have all seen his wrath in Batman vs. Superman, Dawn of Justice, and also in the animated series. After having its first appearance in Death of Superman, creators have experimented with his backstory, providing a necessary origin. After genetic mutations in Krypton, Doomsday was bred for war, and was the only creature who could defeat Superman. In Batman, the Devastator series, Batman from Negative Earth 1 had injected himself with the Doomsday virus to stop Superman from killing Lois Lane. Pretty messed up, right? Well, in this parallel universe, Superman had killed millions and was about to kill Lois Lane, but Batman saved her by becoming Doomsday and killing Superman. This concludes that Doomsday is indeed capable enough to take down Superman. Along with raw strength and laser eyes, this unstoppable behemoth can adapt his physical form to overcome and destroy anything and anyone in his path. In the series, Death of Superman, he was responsible for killing Superman, which was later contradicted as Superman was revived in the Fortress of Solitude. Whatever the storyline is, if this character appears, then there is a bumpy ride for all the DC superheroes. In today's video, we will be digging up Doomsday Origins, and also its appearances at Wrath. And so let's begin. Before we go into our explanation, we have a very small request. If you like our content, please support us by subscribing to our channel. This is a small click for you, but for us, it means a lot. Thank you. Let's begin. Doomsday, unstoppable behemoth origin. Doomsday is an unstoppable monster that changes his physical shape to overwhelm and destroy everything or everyone in his way. In the Death of Superman narrative, he is the most remembered for murdering Superman. Doomsday's father was a heartless extraterrestrial named Bertrand, a scientist who came to Krypton many 100,000 years ago when the Earth was infested with dangerous and vicious beasts. He was preoccupied with inventing a monster capable of surviving in any environment and even eluding death itself. Bertrand subjected his test tube kid to Krypton's harsh terrain and its vicious, hungry residents, hoping to better his next cloned creature with the finest of the surviving genes. However, the baby was dead in seconds by the poisonous atmosphere. Bertrand then directed his troops to gather the leftover tissues in order to carry on the experiment. Every day, a new baby was cloned from the previous one. The infant perished as a result of either the planet's deadly atmosphere or the extreme heat. The tests were repeated several times. Bertrand observed that the infant was evolving, mastering the life's urge to live. After 10 years of scientific studies, the newborn conquered the environment at some point, lasting more than several hours in the atmosphere without dying, but was subsequently attacked by the planet's terrible monsters. Doomsday miraculously survived well outside the laboratory for 2 years after another series of tests. During that period, he destroyed every single monster on the world. Doomsday was designed to be a flawless being that could live forever by employing induced evolution to avoid death. It eventually got to the point where Bertrand didn't need to clone him to bring him back to life. Despite the fact that it cost him his life, Bertrand was successful in modifying the ultimate life form's DNA so that the monster could regenerate after being destroyed. Furthermore, Doomsday would develop resistance to whatever caused his demise. Unfortunately, Doomsday was only susceptible to death from all sources. As a result, the ultimate creature developed a loathing for all living beings. After annihilating the creatures, he headed to Bertrand's laboratory and slaughtered everyone there. Doomsday's first meeting with Darkseid happened on the planet Bylon 5. Darkseid was looking for resources to help Apocalypse. When Doomsday crashed down, he was besieged by Master Mayhem, Darkseid's longtime buddy and comrade. Darkseid thought Mayhem was unkillable until Doomsday ripped him limb from limb. The beast was then challenged to hand-to-hand battle by Darkseid. They were absolutely outmaneuvered until Darkseid was forced to depart because Bylon 5 was becoming too poisonous and destroying all living species. Doomsday leapt into the spacecraft and slaughtered the crew while some of Darkseid's troops fled. He subsequently landed on the world of Kundia and resumed his destructive rampage. Kundia's people placed their trust and technology in a courageous warrior named Kobold to fight Doomsday. He was given stronger armor because there was no way to eliminate Doomsday. Kobold's task was to launch the monster from the Earth. Kobold died when the rocket burst during the battle with Doomsday. Doomsday was abandoned in space. He most likely died and resurrected in order to survive the vacuum of space. World after world discovered that they could not kill him, but could only exile him and hope that others would fare better. Doomsday will ultimately come into contact with Green Lantern Zardon Pell, who did not stay long. Doomsday became aware of the Guardians of Oa as a result of this encounter. The monster made his way to Oa, where he slaughtered many of the devoted Green Lanterns. A Guardian sacrificed his life to send Doomsday through a dimensional rift in space. This brought Doomsday to the world of Krypton, which was full of modern technology that would be powerless against the monster. He'd spend years inflicting evil on this Earth. One of the royal families made the decision to surrender their life and concentrate their souls into one radiant creature. Radiant was summoned to fight Doomsday. This would last a week because Doomsday had never faced such a monster before. Radiant had to destroy the majority of Krypton in order to eventually defeat Doomsday. Doomsday was given a traditional burial by the survivors of Krypton, despite the fact that he would not be buried on Krypton due to his crimes. He was imprisoned aboard a ship and returned to the stars from where he had come. The spacecraft crashed on Earth and lay inactive for an unknown number of years.
Despite the best efforts of the Special Crimes Unit, so far the creature has proved unstoppable.
Doomsday's first encounter with the Justice League. Doomsday awoke under the Earth's crust and made his way to the surface after releasing one arm from its bindings and breaking free from the tomb. He murdered a bunch of underworlders who had mistaken Doomsday for one of them on the way. Doomsday, now that he was free of his chains, continued slaughtering anything he saw with his one free arm. The Justice League came with Ice, Blue Beetle, Booster Gold, Fire, Bloodwind, and Maxima to examine his route of destruction. Arriving just in time to save a family from a calamity, the newly formed JLA soon found themselves embroiled in a furious struggle with the mysterious creature. Meanwhile, hundreds of miles away from the metropolis, Superman was engaged with public relations for the abrupt foundation of the new Justice League. Superman was doing his best to alleviate the anxieties of a gathering of media outlets when a broadcast report revealed the war scene at Ohio's Lexoil refinery. The conflict, which was still going on in a state distant from Metropolis, went on. Guy Gardner, as usual, was the first to challenge Doomsday to a one-on-one battle. Guy's skull was trampled on before he could finish his one-liner. The former Green Lantern, bloodied, black and blue, and was face down on the pavement. He never had a chance to fight back. Fire rained on the pyroplasmic heat from a safer distance, but had little to no effect on the muscle-bound beast. While Beatriz attacked him from behind, Bloodwind summoned all of his might and charged forward. Bloodwind merely stood there in awe after seeing the beast totally overlook one of his greatest blows. With just its left arm free, the horrible beast plowed into Bloodwind with a devastating haymaker, driving the new recruit into the raging oil fire. Doomsday sneaked up from behind Blue Beetle as he sought to save the enigmatic hero from the raging flames. Doomsday seized Ted by the neck and smashed him headfirst into the refinery's surrounding structure as soon as Ted learnt Bloodwind's actual identity. Seeing his friend's dilemma, Booster Gold attempted to intervene, was struck upward before he could set up a force field. Superman captured Booster Gold in midair as he was marveling at how the force of his punch was overriding his flying ring. Maxima, who desperately wanted to continue fighting Doomsday, was persuaded by Ice to rush the gravely injured Blue Beetle to the hospital. With Superman on the scene, Onlookers stared in disbelief as the Man of Steel took one of Doomsday's bullets to the chest without even flinching. Unfortunately, the crowd's newfound faith in Superman would be short-lived. A savagery marathon unlike any other has only yet begun. Doomsday retaliated by effortlessly kicking Superman through the home of a vulnerable family. Even though no innocent individuals were killed, the scene was prepared for additional exploitation of others who happened to be in the wrong location at the wrong time. The battle was moving from Ohio to the more densely populated state of New York. While Superman was trying to save two troops from a downed chopper, Maxima sprang into the battle. The former Queen of Almerac delighted in Doomsday's attack and was able to spar with the Behemoth until Superman completed his rescues. Before long, Superman and Maxima were joining together to take on Doomsday. At one point, Superman tried to grab Doomsday from behind, giving Maxima an opportunity to wind up for a frontal strike. Maxima's punch sent Superman reeling as Doomsday dived out of the way. Maxima was thrown back and had a cargo vehicle fall on her while she pondered how the thing could move so quickly. Doomsday then dive-bombed feet first into a gasoline dispenser by Superman as a retaliation. Their tag team tactics would soon come to an end as the brawl neared a fueling station. Maxima snatched a light pole from the ground to use as a weapon, but in doing so, she accidentally set off an explosion that shook upstate Kirby County. Doomsday was the first to awaken as the heavy black smoke cleared. The Armageddon beast resumed its route of destruction, now fully unchecked. A bombardment of TV advertising promoting a wrestling event awakened a single goal deep within Doomsday's primal mentality: Metropolis. Finally, after clearing his mind from the force of the blast, Superman started to chase, realizing Doomsday was on his way to the city he called home. When he ran into Doomsday in Metropolis, Supergirl arrived to assist, but was knocked down with a single punch, bloodied and battered. Superman discovered that his attempts to inflict vital injury on the beast were futile until he began focusing his efforts on the exoskeletal bones around his body. Blow after blow, the shockwaves created by the fight's impact forces began tearing Metropolis apart. Due to his Kryptonian ancestry, Superman had Doomsday's entire attention by this point, but he was unaware at the time that the beast held a personal grudge towards Kryptonians. Doomsday inflicted and received lethal wounds from the Man of Steel that few have ever inflicted or received afterwards. Ultimately, both adversaries delivered lethal headshots to the other, bringing the enormous conflict to a close. While the world grieved Superman's death, Doomsday's body was removed to be investigated. Hank Henshaw, a malevolent cyborg posing as Superman, launched Doomsday into orbit. Doomsday would soon be resurrected and found himself traversing the galaxy once more. Doomsday major story arcs. The most recent manifestation of Doomsday coincided with the arrival on Earth of Kandor and its Kryptonian residents. Kal-El had taken his uncle and aunt with him as a part of a delegation to Metropolis to meet with the President of the United States. The meeting was going well, with Zor-El and the President even making light of Kara's previous flight on Air Force One. Doomsday appeared out of nowhere, disrupting the gathering and generating fear. Kal jumped into action alongside Kara to battle with Doomsday, who was on the hunt for Superman. Doomsday was able to dismiss Kara, tossing her into a neighboring structure before focusing his whole attention on Kal-El. Kal was able to deflect Doomsday's first blow, but the resulting shockwave shattered buildings for over a mile radius. Much as it had in their previous meeting, Kal was knocked out, but before Doomsday could take advantage of the opportunity, Kara fought him, giving Zor and the other Kryptonians an opportunity to battle him. Doomsday began attacking Kryptonians ruthlessly. While it was established that the citizens of Krypton were aware of his existence, he could still bully his opponents, tossing one Kryptonian through many buildings. When he tossed the memorial monument of Kon-El at him and Kara, he made Kal wonder whether he still had intellect. To safeguard the residents of the city, Kal and Zor led the Kryptonians as they took Doomsday to the moon to to finish the war, despite the fact that they had previously cleared the region. Doomsday was able to survive the heat vision of many Kryptonians and targeted Kara once again, knocking her away. In a moment of wrath, Zor and Allura led Kandor's residents in a savage assault against Doomsday. They were capable of beating him to death in a matter of minutes. Doomsday's corpse was eventually recovered by General Lane. He handed over the remnants to Lex Luthor after demonstrating the potential it possessed. Luthor began to work on the body, attempting to lead its rebirth in order to make Doomsday even more powerful than before. He has a few good ideas, one of which is to entice Doomsday into growing some type of biological weapon. Doomsday's reappearance will be a huge event. Having been bludgeoned to death by a Kryptonian mob, he would have already returned capable of overcoming such a death a second time. With Luthor as the driving force for his resurrection, one could only speculate as to how he will now return. DC Comics revealed Reign of Doomsday. This is a scenario at which the villain Doomsday collects all of the heroes who arose following the death of the original Superman. John Henry Irons confronts Doomsday, but he discovers that no preparation is impervious to the force of Doomsday. John Henry Irons fights valiantly, but none of Steel's attacks injure Doomsday. John Henry Irons planned to utilize his nanobots to destroy the monster's cells. He appears to have defeated Doomsday with his nano-robot killing cells, but the monster's cellular regeneration is too powerful for him to fall for it. Doomsday easily overcomes Steel. Nat can only wail as Doomsday knocks John down cold. Doomsday seeks out other heroes, the Outsiders. Of course, Doomsday goes in search of the Eradicator. Doomsday must track down the Eradicator and destroy the Outsiders before battling and defeating the Eradicator. Doomsday travels in search of the cyborg Superman. Steel, Superboy, Eradicator, Cyborg Superman, and Supergirl are taken on board a Tesseract starship manufactured by unknown aliens by Doomsday. They are assaulted by numerous Doomsday clones while aboard the ship, including a cyborg Doomsday, an armored Doomsday, a Doomsday with tactile telekinesis, and an energy-manipulating Doomsday. Superman is pulled to the spacecraft, which is invisible, after a confrontation with Lex Luthor at which he gained godlike powers from the Phantom Zone god. The Super Family discovers the original Doomsday in a coma within the station. Lex was able to clone him after he died at the hands of the Kandorians. The Super Family defeats the Doomsdays while saving the brain-dead Doomsday, who is gradually healing his wounds thanks to his regenerative abilities. The Super Family is possible to attain the control of the station, which is now surging towards Earth, only to be confronted by a being calling itself the Doom Slayer, and proclaiming that it is the death of Doomsday, later discovered to be a Doomsday clone who was chucked down an infinite tube that gave it time to evolve, who flawlessly tears Eradicator apart and professes that Earth must die for the future. Doomslayer thinks the original Doomsday was an illness, and it intends to kill Earth since it considers Earth to be the epicenter of Doomsday's virus. Superman and his comrades flee the spacecraft with the original Doomsday and prevent the ship from collapsing on Earth, pushing it into Metropolis's harbor. Following that, Doomslayer strikes the city with the Doomsday clones, intending to wipe out all traces and knowledge of Doomsday. Doomslayer's second goal is to bring the Doomsdays to the Earth's core so that he may extend the universe within the ship's tower and blow up the world from inside, wiping all memory of Doomsday from the cosmos. Superman's friends exploit the original Doomsday's body in Star Labs to try to find a solution to halt the Doomsday clones. Doomsday has awoken, but Eradicator is in command. He alerts Eradicator and the heroes that Doomsday's consciousness is about to awaken as they assault the Doomsday clones. In the climactic fight, Superman communicates with the ship's artificial intelligence before it hits Earth's core in the hopes of having the tower teleport away. However, Earth's warriors overcame the Doomsday's clones and relegated them into the pit in which the tower is built. The Eradicator then appears and defends Superman from Doomslayer. He immediately pushes Superman out of the tower and lets himself be imprisoned with the Doomslayer before the tower disappears. What makes Doomsday super deadly? Doomsday has the capacity to return from death unwillingly and unsupported as a result of his unusual DNA. As a result, Doomsday may be regarded as immortal. The length of time it takes for somebody to resurrect is typically determined by the manner in which he died. For example, if his death was identical to that of Imperiex, when the Hollower of Galaxies converted him to a skeleton, the reincarnation procedure may take thousands of years. Doomsday is able to adapt and become invincible to the cause of his death the following time he is born because of the nature of his DNA. All of Doomsday's suffering allowed him to become stronger, but it has also caused him to despise all life. Doomsday appears to have an innate capacity to perceive Kryptonians as a result of enduring primordial Krypton and its harsh people. Doomsday's entire being has grown to despise Kryptonians more than any other type of existence. If he is not harmed beyond his capacity to recuperate, Doomsday's reactive adaptability will make him increasingly invulnerable as he battles. Doomsday was also recreated in Superman Batman with kryptonite crystals instead of his customary bone extensions. Doomsday possesses an extremely quick healing factor, allowing him to recoup from damage practically instantaneously. It's possible that his regenerative factor is what permits him to resurrect and evolve resistances. Doomsday's chest, back, knees, elbows, shoulders, knuckles, chin, brows, and eyes are covered with enormous thorny bone protrusions. The razor-sharp spikes are very durable and have injured opponents who were previously thought to be invulnerable, such as Superman and Darkseid. It's conceivable that these protuberances are a form of defense that Doomsday has developed. Doomsday boasts tremendous physical strength. Confronting Doomsday in physical conflict will almost certainly result in death. Nearly 100% of those who have confronted him have died. He once knocked out Darkseid, the Apocalypse King. He has also been able to equal Superman's strength in their battles. And in the Hunter-Prey miniseries, he was able to break Superman's arm despite Superman's increased power. Doomsday eventually obtains Intellect in his most recent incarnation. Though this is later undone, it is conceivable that he will get this talent again. Doomsday appeared to be stymied by Martian Manhunter's telepathy, but he overcame it after a few blows. Doomsday was sensitive to kryptonite due to his Kryptonian ancestry, but he overcame that sensitivity after being exposed to it. Doomsday created fire breath in order to beat Martian Manhunter, and he subsequently used it against Superman. When confronted with the energy being, Radiant, who had previously slain him, Doomsday created an energy aura capable of wiping out the Radiant's energy and destroying him. Wave Rider tried to disable whatever Doomsday's nervous system is. Doomsday, unfortunately, was able to generate an energy feedback, overloading Wave Rider with his own energies and knocking him unconscious. Monstrous versions of Doomsday in various forms of media. Doomsday appears in Smallville as the major enemy in Season 8, played by Dario D'Alessio. This version was created as General Zod's and Fo'ora's son from the strongest creature's DNA on Krypton, and had the human-like alter ego of Davis Bloom that mutated into the recognizable monster form and blacked out during Doomsday's active periods, and was portrayed as a tragic villain rather than a completely uncontrollable monster. When Clark Kent's secret is disclosed to the rest of the world, Davis realizes he is the Kryptonian he was meant to murder. When Doomsday went after Chloe Sullivan, Clark traveled back in time and changed events so Davis never found out, causing Davis to struggle to manage his alter ego as he and Clark find their connection to each other. In the season finale, Chloe Sullivan uses black kryptonite to divide Davis and Doomsday, and Clark is able to bury Doomsday deep beneath the earth while keeping Davis alive. Believing Davis may be rescued, Davis, on the other hand, snaps and murders Jimmy Olsen. Jimmy throws Davis onto spikes, impaling and murdering him before succumbing to his own wounds, finishing the encounter in a mutual death. Doomsday makes an appearance in Krypton. In this version, he is a super weapon built by the Zods and Elves that have been frozen in cryogenic slumber to prevent him from waking up and destroying Kandor. In the episode Civil Wars, Adam Strange persuades Seg-El, who wishes to liberate him, to stop Brainiac of the threat Doomsday presented in the future, which could only be averted by Superman.
To hurt you. That thing in there, they told me it's called Doomsday. Okay, I know that.
Doomsday escapes his cage in the last sequence of the episode, the Phantom Zone. In Season 2, Doomsday's origins are revealed through flashbacks, dating 1,000 cycles prior to the events of the series in the episode Zods and Monsters. Kryptonian scientists Wedna L and Van Zod experiment on Dax Baron, a Kandorian with a unique genetic mutation, who has been convinced he will be the savior to end a civil war on Krypton. Through reactive evolution, he evolved into the beast known as Doomsday after numerous tests. In the present, Zod catches Doomsday with a Codex-enhanced rifle, which he intends to employ as a weapon in his attempt to populate other worlds, to put his power over Doomsday to the test, and to guarantee his dominion on Krypton. Zod released Doomsday on Krypton's moon, Wegthor, to finish the present war against the rebellion led by Seg's grandfather, Val-El, by manipulating Doomsday with Black Mercy poison. Doomsday was voiced by Michael J. White in the DCAU. This incarnation is a modified clone of Superman that was genetically developed by Project Cadmus to be the Man of Steel's superior and brainwashed with hatred. Cadmus abandoned the experiment when he proved too difficult to manage, and Doomsday was released into space on a rocket at the cost of underestimating his might. Doomsday destroyed his rocket-powered jail cell before it could escape the planet's orbit, sending it on a collision path with Earth. Doomsday also had a brief appearance in the animated series Legion of Superheroes. He is depicted as a prisoner within the Phantom Zone in the episode Phantoms, along with several other Phantom Zone baddies. In the cancelled Superman Reborn and Superman Lives film projects, Doomsday was considered as a villain. Most notably, the villain appeared with Brainiac in Kevin Smith's version of the script, which director Tim Burton subsequently abandoned. Eldon Henson plays Doomsday in the 2011 short film The Death and Return of Superman. Doomsday is spoken and motion captured by Robin Atkin Downs in the 2016 film Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, with assistance from Gary A. Hecker. Lex Luthor exploits General Zod's corpse to develop a Kryptonian deformity after obtaining Kryptonian information from the historical records of a crashed scout ship, an act outlawed by the Kryptonian Council prior to the planet's demise. He learns from the computer that the Council has done this before, implying the true Doomsday is still out there. Luthor sets the lifeless body in the Genesis chamber and breathes life into the beast with his own blood. During a Man of Steel watch party at the social media site Vero, director Jack Snyder confirmed that the broken moon, visible during Jor-El's journey to the Citadel, was destroyed by the real Doomsday created by Krypton, an Easter egg for a later appearance, confirming that the real Doomsday is alive and well in the universe. Doomsday appears in the animated direct-to-video film Superman: Doomsday. Released in 2007, Doomsday's origin was simplified, with the Superman robot informing him that Kryptonian records reported him as an improperly programmed Doomsday biomechanical super soldier, a literal weapon of mass destruction, or Doomsday device, one that could not distinguish between friend and foe, destroying everyone and everything in sight because it must. In Superman Batman Apocalypse, an army of Doomsday clones appears. Darkseid creates them and sends them to assault the Mesquera. Doomsday reappears in a two-part animated film that serves as a more authentic readaptation of the Death of Superman set in the animated film universe, established by Justice League, the Flashpoint Paradox, and Justice League War. In the first installment, titled The Death of Superman, a doomsday meteorite emerges from a boom tube and falls to Earth, obliterating Hank Henshaw's ship. Doomsday, whose containment suit is progressively damaged, embarks on a killing spree and defeats the majority of the Justice League on his way to Metropolis. Superman arrives and faces Doomsday after he defeats Wonder Woman and almost kills her with her own shattered sword. Doomsday constantly adapts and learns new skills to defeat his Kryptonian opponent during the war. In Injustice, Doomsday makes a brief appearance, as in the 2013 video game Injustice, Gods Among Us, and the Year One comic. Doomsday emerges as an illusion induced by Superman's exposure to fear gas combined with kryptonite, leading Superman to believe he was battling Doomsday and accidentally murdering Lois Lane. Doomsday could return to DCEU even stronger. Darkseid is the most scary villain in the DC Extended Universe, but another creature has the promise to be even more deadly. Zack Snyder's Justice League generated a slew of buzz around the DC Cinematic Universe, reigniting interest in the contentious franchise. The appearance of Darkseid and the New Gods was a particularly popular aspect of the picture. The greatest villain in the DC Universe may have only had a few scenes, but his presence was felt throughout the significantly improved version of the picture. But no matter how strong Uxas of Apocalypse proves to be, there is another DCEU villain who might end up being even more powerful. Doomsday is said to have been slain in Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice, yet his comic book counterpart is famed for his endurance. If the DCEU Doomsday is anything like the comics, he'll return in some form or another because he was created from General Zod's corpse. The filmic depiction of Superman's final opponent was much different from the comic book version. This deformed monster possessed amplified versions of typical Kryptonian abilities, allowing him to be incredibly powerful. He nevertheless resembled the comic book version in that he evolved further to become more strong, sprouting his signature bones after being injured. This already suggests that he may return in some way and defy death, as did the original Doomsday. But so does Superman's return. The Man of Steel was resurrected after being powered by a mother box, and it's very plausible that Doomsday may be resurrected in the same manner. If resurrected, he might continue to mutate and evolve into a more efficient killing machine, as evidenced by his bone growth. This might lead to him obtaining higher intellect, as he did temporarily in the comics, or to him getting a twisted version of Zod's mentality and memories. If he shares the comic book version's reluctance to dying the same manner again, kryptonite will be completely ineffective. This would increase the creature's physical might and make it extremely difficult to vanquish. One possible plotline would be Darkseid or one of the other New Gods utilizing a mother box to resuscitate the monster in order for him to serve the ruler of Apocalypse. If Doomsday ends up revolting against Darkseid, it might lead to a type of hunter-prey scenario in which Doomsday defeats Darkseid only for Superman to defeat him later. Of course, this requires the DCEU to continue on any of the lines Snyder established, but it would surely redeem what many considered as a poor portrayal of Superman's murderer. And if you liked our content, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to us if you haven't already. Have a good one and be safe. Thanks, everyone.